Welcome to my channel Book to Fluent. I am Adam, and today I want to ask you one simple question. Why do you understand English, but still feel afraid to speak? Why do big words confuse you, stop you, and make you feel like English is not for you? What if I tell you, the secret is not difficult English. The real power is in simple English, the kind you already know. Stay with me because today you will discover how simple English can change everything. And tell me in the comments, do you feel scared when you try to speak English? Chapter 1. The lie that English must be difficult. There is a silent belief that is holding you back right now, and maybe you have never even questioned it, but it is controlling your confidence every single day. Somewhere in your learning journey, you started to believe that English must be difficult. That real English is full of big words, long sentences, and perfect grammar, and if you cannot speak like that, then you are not ready to speak at all. This belief feels real because you have seen textbooks full of complex rules, teachers correcting every small mistake, and videos where people speak very fast with advanced vocabulary, and slowly, without realizing it, you told yourself, "My English is too simple, I am not ready yet." And that one thought became your biggest obstacle. You started understanding English, but you stopped speaking it. You started learning more, but using less. You waited and waited and waited, but nothing changed. If this feels like your story, then this chapter is for you because today we are breaking this lie completely. Let me tell you something very powerful, and I want you to really feel this, not just hear it. English is not difficult. English is made difficult. There is a big difference. The way it is taught, the way it is shown, the way it is presented to learners, it creates pressure, fear, and confusion. But real English, the English people use in real life, is actually very simple. Think about it for a moment. When people talk to their friends, do they use big words all the time? No. They say simple things like, "I am tired, let's go, I like this, I don't understand, can you help me?" These are small sentences, but they are powerful because they communicate real meaning. Communication is not about sounding smart, it is about being understood. And that is where most learners go wrong. They try to impress instead of express. Now imagine this situation. You are in a room, maybe with friends, maybe in a class, maybe even online, and you understand what is happening. You know the answer, you know what you want to say. But when the moment comes, your heart starts beating faster, your mind becomes heavy, and suddenly you feel blank. Why? Not because you don't know English, but because you are trying to create a perfect sentence in your mind. You are searching for the right words, the correct grammar, the best structure, and in that process you lose your voice. This is the hidden trap. The more you try to be perfect, the more silent you become, and slowly this silence becomes your habit. But here is the truth that can change everything for you. You don't need perfect English to start speaking. You need simple English. Simple English gives you speed. Simple English gives you confidence. Simple English removes fear. When you use simple words, your brain feels relaxed. When your brain feels relaxed, your mouth starts moving. And when your mouth starts moving, that is where real learning begins. Because speaking is not the result of learning, speaking is the process of learning. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, your brain is training itself. Every sentence you say is a step forward. Let me show you how powerful simple English really is. Instead of saying a long, complicated sentence like, "I am currently experiencing a feeling of confusion regarding this particular topic," you can simply say, "I am confused." The meaning is clear, the message is strong, and most importantly, you can say it easily. This is the power of simplicity. It removes the distance between your thoughts and your voice. It helps you speak faster, think faster, and feel more natural. And when you start feeling natural, something amazing happens. You stop thinking about English, and you start using English. Many learners think that using simple English will make them sound weak or basic, but the reality is completely different. The strongest communicators in the world use simple language. Why? Because simple language connects. It reaches people, it is easy to understand, easy to remember, and easy to respond to. Complex language can impress for a moment, but simple language builds real communication. And your goal is not to impress people with big words, your goal is to express yourself clearly and confidently. That is real fluency. Now I want you to take a small moment and reflect on your own journey. How many times did you stop yourself from speaking because you thought your English was not good enough? How many times did you wait to learn more before starting? And how many times did that waiting turn into silence? This is not your fault. You were taught to believe that English must be difficult, but today you are learning a new truth. English can be simple, and simple English is enough to start. From this moment, I want you to change one small thing in your mindset. Stop asking yourself, is this sentence perfect? And start asking yourself, can I say this simply? That one question will change the way you speak. It will remove pressure, it will give you freedom, and it will help you take action immediately. Because at the end of the day, progress does not come from knowing more, it comes from using what you know. This chapter is not just information. It is a reset, a new way of thinking, a new way of learning. You are not someone who needs difficult English to succeed. You are someone who can use simple English to start speaking today. And once you start, everything will begin to change. Chapter 2. Simple words, strong voice. Now that you have started to break the biggest lie in your mind, something very important is about to change inside you, and that is how you see your own words. Because the truth is, you already know enough English to begin speaking, but you have been ignoring it, underestimating it, and sometimes even feeling ashamed of it. You look at your vocabulary and think, this is too small, this is not enough, I need more words before I can speak. And because of that thought, your voice stays quiet. But today, I want you to see your words in a completely different way. I want you to see them as power, not weakness. Because simple words, when used with confidence, can create a strong, clear, and real voice. Let me ask you something very honestly. When you talk in your own language, do you always use difficult words? Do you speak like a book all the time? No, you don't. You use simple, natural, everyday words to express your thoughts, your feelings, your needs. And people understand you perfectly. So why do you expect something different from yourself in English? Why do you suddenly feel that only big words can make you a good speaker? This is not logic, this is pressure, and this pressure is stopping your progress. Because instead of using the words you already know, you are waiting for words you don't know yet. And in that waiting, your confidence becomes smaller and smaller. Now imagine a learner who knows only 100 English words. Not 1,000, not 5,000, just 100 simple words. Words like I, you go, come, eat, sleep, like, want, happy, sad, good, bad, very simple, very basic. Most people would say, this is nothing, this is not enough. But here is the surprising truth. With just these simple words, that learner can already start speaking. They can say, I am happy, I want food, I go home, I like this, I feel tired, you help me, this is good, I don't understand. These are not big sentences, but they are real, they carry meaning, they create communication, and most importantly, they build confidence. This is where everything changes. Because fluency does not start when you know many words. Fluency starts when you start using your words. Even if they are small, even if they are simple, even if they are not perfect. When you speak, your brain becomes active. It starts connecting ideas, forming sentences, creating patterns, and slowly, without pressure, your English begins to grow. But if you don't speak, if you just keep collecting words like a list, nothing changes. You become a learner who knows a lot, but cannot say anything. There is something very powerful about simple words. They are fast. They come quickly to your mind. They don't create confusion. They don't make you stop and think too much. And because of that, they allow you to speak more naturally. When you use simple words, you don't feel stuck. You don't feel lost. You feel free. And that freedom is the key to building your voice. Because your voice is not built by big vocabulary. Your voice is built by repeated use of simple language. Think about a child learning to speak. A child does not wait to learn difficult words. A child starts with the simplest words and uses them again and again. I want, I go, I eat, I like. And through repetition, these simple words become strong sentences. These sentences become habits, and these habits become fluency. This is the natural way of learning a language, and this is exactly what you need to follow. Not complexity, but consistency. Not perfection, but practice. Now here comes a very important realization, and I want you to really feel this moment. You don't need more words to start. You need more courage to use the words you already know. Because the real problem is not your vocabulary. The real problem is your hesitation, your fear of making mistakes, your habit of overthinking. And once you break this hesitation, even your small vocabulary will start to feel powerful. Let me give you a simple exercise that can change your thinking immediately. Take 5 words that you already know. Just 5. For example, I like food this good. Now start making small sentences. I like food. This is good. I like this. This food is good. You see what is happening? You are not learning new words. You are using the words you already have in different ways. And this is how your brain learns to speak. Not by memorizing more, but by using more. And slowly, as you continue this process, something beautiful happens. Your confidence grows. Your speed improves. Your fear starts to disappear. You don't feel stuck anymore. You don't feel silent anymore. You feel active. You feel alive in the language. And that is the moment when you stop being just a learner and you start becoming a speaker. So from today, stop thinking that your English is too simple. Start believing that your English is your starting power. Every small word you know is a building block. Every small sentence you speak is a step forward. And every time you use your voice, you are moving closer to fluency. Remember this deeply. Big vocabulary does not create a strong voice. Simple words, used daily, create a powerful voice. And your voice is already inside you. You just need to start using it. Chapter 3. Speak first, improve later. There is a moment that almost every English learner faces, and it is a very quiet but very dangerous moment, because it feels logical, it feels smart, and it feels safe. But in reality, it is the biggest reason why so many people never become fluent. That moment is when you tell yourself, I will speak later. First, I will learn more. At first, this sounds like a good plan. You think you are preparing yourself. You think you are building a strong base. You think you are being careful and serious. But slowly, this later becomes a habit, and this habit becomes a trap. Days pass, weeks pass, months pass, and you are still waiting. You keep watching videos, reading books, learning new words, but when it comes to speaking, you are still at the same place, silent, stuck. Not because you cannot speak, but because you have trained yourself not to. Let me tell you something very real, something that many learners don't want to hear, but they need to hear. You cannot become fluent by only learning. You become fluent by speaking. Learning supports speaking, but speaking creates fluency. This is the truth that changes everything. Think about it like this. If someone reads about swimming for months, watches videos, learns techniques, understands everything about water, will they become a swimmer? No. The moment they step into the water, they feel fear, they feel pressure, they feel uncomfortable. Because real learning begins when action begins. And English is the same. You can learn as much as you want, but until you start speaking, your brain does not fully activate the language. Now I want you to remember a time when you wanted to say something in English but stopped yourself. Maybe you knew the idea, maybe you had the words, but you were not sure about the grammar. Or maybe you were afraid of making a mistake. Or maybe you thought people would judge you, and so you stayed quiet. That moment may feel small, but it is very important. Because every time you choose silence over speaking, you are training your brain to avoid English. You are telling your mind it is not safe to speak. And slowly, your confidence becomes weaker. But what if we change this completely? What if instead of waiting to be perfect, you decide to start now? What if you accept that your sentences will be small, your grammar will not be perfect, your words will be limited, but you will still speak? That is the moment your journey truly begins. Because speaking is not the result of confidence. Speaking is the cause of confidence. The more you speak, the more comfortable you feel. The more comfortable you feel, the more you improve. It is a cycle, and you need to enter that cycle as soon as possible. Let me show you how simple this can be. You don't need long sentences. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need to start. You can say, I go market. Even if it is not perfect. You can say, I like this. I feel tired. I want water. I no understand. Even if the grammar is broken. What matters is that you are speaking. Because every time you speak, your brain is learning. It is adjusting. It is improving. And slowly, without even realizing it, your sentences become better. But this improvement only happens when you take action. There is something very powerful about imperfect speaking. It removes pressure. It allows you to be free. It allows you to focus on meaning instead of form. And when you focus on meaning, communication becomes easier. You stop thinking too much. You stop trying to build perfect sentences in your head. You just speak. And this is exactly how fluency grows. Not in perfect conditions, but in real, messy, imperfect moments. Now I want you to imagine a different version of yourself. A version who does not wait. A version who speaks every day, even with simple words, even with mistakes. This version is not afraid of being wrong, because they understand that mistakes are part of growth. This version is active, confident, and moving forward. And the best part is, this version is not far from you. This version is you if you decide to change one habit. From today, I want you to make one simple promise to yourself. Stop saying, I will speak later. Start saying, I will speak now. Even if it is just one sentence, even if it is just 3 words, even if no one is listening, speak to yourself. Speak while walking. Speak while doing daily tasks. Speak even when you feel unsure, because every small sentence you say is breaking your fear and building your fluency. And here is something very important to understand. You will make mistakes. That is not a problem. That is a sign of progress. Every mistake is showing you where you can improve. But if you don't speak, you don't make mistakes. And if you don't make mistakes, you don't grow. So don't run away from mistakes. Use them, learn from them, and keep moving. This chapter is your turning point. This is where you stop being a passive learner and start becoming an active speaker. This is where you stop waiting and start doing. Because fluency is not something you reach in the future. Fluency is something you build in the present, one simple sentence at a time. So don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment does not exist. The only moment you have is now. Speak now, start now, and your English will start changing from today. Chapter 4. Think in simple English, not translation. There is one hidden habit that is slowing you down every time you try to speak English. And the most surprising part is that you may not even realize you are doing it. It feels natural, it feels normal, and for many learners it feels necessary. That habit is translation. You hear something in your mind in your own language, then you try to change it into English, word by word, sentence by sentence, and by the time you are ready to speak, the moment is already gone. You feel slow, confused, and sometimes even frustrated. You start thinking, why is this so difficult? Why can't I speak fast? But the problem is not your English, the problem is the process you are using. Translation is not helping you speak, it is stopping you from speaking. Let's understand this in a very simple way. When you translate, your brain is doing 2 jobs at the same time. First, it creates the idea in your native language. Then, it searches for English words to match that idea. This takes time, this creates pressure, and this breaks your natural flow. Imagine trying to run while stopping every few seconds to think about your next step. You will never feel fast, you will never feel smooth, and you will never feel confident. This is exactly what translation does to your speaking. It breaks your rhythm and fills your mind with doubt. Now I want you to imagine a different way. A way where you don't translate. A way where you think directly in simple English. At first, this may sound difficult, but the truth is, it is much easier than translation. Why? Because you are not trying to build perfect sentences, you are simply expressing small, clear thoughts. For example, instead of thinking in your own language and then translating a long sentence, you can start with a simple thought like, I am hungry, I am walking, this is nice, I feel happy, I don't understand. These are not big sentences, but they are direct. They come quickly. They don't need translation. And this is how your brain starts to become faster. At the beginning, your thoughts in English will feel small, maybe even too small. But don't worry, small thoughts are powerful because they are easy to create, easy to speak, and easy to repeat. And repetition is the key to building a new habit. When you repeat simple English thoughts again and again, your brain starts to accept them as natural. Slowly, without pressure, your thinking begins to shift. You stop depending on your native language, you stop translating, and you start thinking directly in English. Let me give you a simple example from daily life. Imagine you are walking outside. Instead of thinking in your own language, try to describe what you see in simple English. You can say in your mind, I see a car, the sky is blue, I am walking, people are talking, it is hot, I feel tired. These are very basic thoughts, but they are real, they are connected to your life. And because they are connected to your life, they stay in your mind. This is not just practice, this is training your brain to live in English. There will be moments when your mind wants to go back to translation. That is normal. You have been using that method for a long time, but now you are building a new system, a simpler system, a faster system. Every time you catch yourself translating, gently stop and ask yourself, can I say this in simple English? Even if your sentence is not perfect, even if it is incomplete, just try, because every attempt is progress. There is a very special feeling that comes when you start thinking in English. It is a feeling of freedom. You don't feel stuck anymore. You don't feel slow anymore. Your thoughts come faster, your words come easier, and speaking starts to feel natural. Not perfect, but natural. And that is what you need. Because fluency is not about perfect sentences, fluency is about flow. Now I want you to understand something very important. Thinking in English does not start with big ideas. It starts with small, simple thoughts. You don't need to think about complex topics. You don't need to create long sentences in your mind. Start with what you see, what you feel, what you do. Keep it simple, keep it real, and keep it consistent. Over time, these small thoughts will grow. Your sentences will become longer, your ideas will become clearer. But this growth will happen naturally, without pressure, without fear, because you are building your English from the inside, not from outside rule. This chapter is your key to speed and confidence, because when you stop translating, you remove the biggest barrier between your thoughts and your voice. And when that barrier is gone, speaking becomes easier, faster, more natural. So from today, give your mind a new direction. Don't translate. Think simple. Think direct. Think in English, even if it is small, even if it is slow, even if it is not perfect. Because every simple thought you create is one step closer to real fluency, and slowly, quietly, your brain will begin to change, and one day you will realize something amazing. You are no longer translating, you are simply thinking in English. Chapter 5. Daily life is your best English teacher. Now we are going to change something very important in your journey. Something that will remove pressure from your learning and replace it with freedom, ease, and consistency. Until now, you may have believed that learning English requires special time, special books, special videos, or a perfect environment. You may have thought, I will practice when I sit properly, when I open my notebook, when I have time. But the truth is, this way of thinking makes learning slow and difficult. Because life is busy, time is limited, and when English becomes something separate from your life, it becomes something you do less and less. But what if I tell you that you don't need extra time to learn English? What if your daily life is already full of opportunities to practice? What if everything you do every day can become your English classroom? Think about your normal day. From the moment you wake up, your life is full of actions, objects, feelings, and small moments. You get out of bed, you go to the bathroom, you eat, you walk, you check your phone, you talk to people, you work, you rest. These are not just activities, these are chances to use English. And the best part is, you don't need anything extra. You just need awareness. You just need to start using simple English in these moments. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning and instead of starting your day in silence, you say in your mind or softly with your voice, I wake up. I feel sleepy. I go to bathroom. I brush my teeth. I am tired. I want tea. These are very small sentences, very simple, but they are real. They are connected to your life. And because they are real, they are easy to remember and easy to repeat. You are not forcing yourself to learn. You are simply describing your life in English. Now imagine you are walking outside. Instead of thinking in your own language, you start observing your surroundings in simple English. I see people. The road is busy. The weather is hot. I hear noise. I am walking fast. Again, these are not big sentences, but they are powerful because you are training your brain to use English in real time. Not in a classroom, not in a book, but in your real world. This is where something very special begins to happen. English stops feeling like a subject. It starts feeling like a part of your life. You are not studying English anymore. You are living English. And when you live a language, you don't forget it easily. You don't feel pressure. You don't feel bored. You feel natural. Many learners struggle because they separate English from their life. They think, this is my life and this is my English time. But the most successful learners do something different. They mix English into their life. They bring English into their daily routine. They don't wait for the perfect time. They use the time they already have. And that is why they improve faster. Let's go deeper into this idea. Imagine you are eating food. Instead of eating silently, you can think or say, this food is good. I like this. It is spicy. I eat slowly. I feel full. Now imagine you are using your phone. You can say, I open my phone. I watch video. I read message. I reply. I feel happy. These small sentences may feel simple, but they are building your fluency step by step. There is also a very powerful benefit of this method. It removes fear because you are not speaking in front of others. You are speaking to yourself. There is no judgment, no pressure, no embarrassment. You can make mistakes freely. You can repeat sentences as many times as you want. And in this safe space, your confidence starts to grow. Consistency is the real secret here. It is not about doing something big once. It is about doing something small every day. When you use simple English in your daily life, even for a few minutes, your brain stays connected to the language. It does not forget. It does not lose interest. It stays active. And this daily connection is what creates real progress. Now I want you to imagine your future if you follow this method. Every day you speak a little. Every day you think a little. Every day you describe your life in simple English. After a few days, you feel more comfortable. After a few weeks, you feel faster. After a few months, you feel confident. Not because you studied more, but because you used more. And the most beautiful part is this. You don't need to change your life to learn English. You just need to change how you use your life. Your room becomes your classroom. Your routine becomes your practice. Your thoughts become your training. So from today, stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop thinking that you need extra hours. Look at your life. Everything you do is an opportunity. Start small. Start simple. Use your daily moments, because your daily life is not a distraction from learning English. It is the best teacher you have. And once you start living English like this, something magical will happen. You will not feel like a learner anymore. You will feel like a user. And that is the real beginning of fluency. Chapter 6. From Simple to Fluent. Your real journey begins. Now we come to the most important moment of your journey. The moment where everything connects, everything becomes clear, and you finally understand what fluency really means. For a long time, you may have seen fluency as something far away, something difficult, something only possible for smart people or advanced learners. You may have imagined a person speaking fast, using big words, perfect grammar, and you told yourself, "That is not me, I am not there yet." But today, after everything you have learned, I want you to see fluency in a completely different way. Fluency is not a big jump. It is not a magic moment. It is a simple process, built step by step, day by day, sentence by sentence. Think about everything you have discovered in this video. You learned that English does not need to be difficult. You understood that simple words are powerful. You realized that speaking comes before perfection. You started to see how thinking in simple English can free your mind, and you discovered that your daily life is already full of opportunities to practice. These are not separate ideas. These are parts of one system. A system that can take you from silence to confidence, from fear to fluency. Let me show you what this journey really looks like in a simple way. It starts with simple words, words you already know. Then you use these words to create simple sentences. I am happy. I go home. I like this. I feel tired. These sentences may feel small, but they are your foundation. When you repeat them daily, they become natural. When they become natural, you stop thinking too much. And when you stop thinking too much, you start speaking faster. Then something beautiful happens. Your sentences begin to grow, not because you force them to grow, but because your brain is becoming comfortable. You start adding small details. I am happy today. I go home now. I like this food. I feel tired after work. Slowly your language becomes richer, but it is still simple, still clear, still natural. And that is the secret. You are not jumping from simple to complex. You are growing from simple to strong. Many learners try to jump too fast. They skip the simple stage. They want to sound advanced immediately. But that creates pressure, that creates fear, and that brings them back to silence. You are not going to make that mistake. You are building your English the right way. Slowly, consistently, and confidently. Now imagine this moment. You are in a real situation. Maybe you are talking to someone, maybe you are speaking to yourself, maybe you are expressing an idea. And suddenly, you speak without stopping. You don't translate. You don't search for perfect words. You just speak. Maybe your sentences are not perfect. Maybe your grammar is not always correct. But you are speaking. You are expressing. You are communicating. That moment is powerful, because that is the moment you realize something very important. You are no longer just a learner, you are a speaker. This transformation does not happen in one day, but it does happen. And it happens when you follow the path you have learned today. Simple words, simple sentences, daily speaking, direct thinking, real-life practice. These small actions may look simple, but together, they create a powerful change. There will be days when you feel slow, days when you feel like you are not improving, days when you feel tired or unmotivated. That is normal. Every journey has these moments. But what matters is not how you feel in one day. What matters is what you do every day. Even if you speak just a little, even if you think just a little, even if you use just a few sentences, keep going. Because small daily action creates big long-term change. Now I want you to see yourself in a new way. Not as someone who is trying to learn English, but as someone who is already using English. This identity shift is very powerful. Because when you see yourself as a user, your actions change. You don't wait, you don't doubt, you act, you speak, you practice. Fluency is not a destination you reach one day. Fluency is something you build every day. It is in every sentence you speak. It is in every thought you create. It is in every moment you choose English over silence. So this is your real journey. Not a journey of difficulty, but a journey of simplicity. Not a journey of perfection, but a journey of progress. And the best part is, you have already started. Right here, right now. Now take a deep breath and remember this. You don't need more time, you don't need more knowledge, you don't need to wait. You already have enough to begin. Start with simple English. Stay consistent, keep speaking, and slowly, step by step, your simple English will become your fluent English.